for one thing, black people are subject to a race. Race is racism, and the only functional form of racism is the system of white supremacy. Now, supreme means just that. You can't have two supremes. You might have it in a singing group, but you can't have it when you start talking about color. If you say white supremacy, that means you don't have any such thing as black supremacy. That's impossible. It's either one or the other. And black people shouldn't aspire to be black supremacists. That would be just the same old form of mistreatment, but it would be done in blackface. We should replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice, which means guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. Now, people who want to be a member of a race are just by saying that means that they want to mistreat somebody based on color. That's all it's good for. You can't name anything that it's good for other than that. You can sit down and study and study and study and study. You can't come up with anything that would justify being a member of a race except to mistreat someone based on color. That's what it's for. That's what it always was for. It wasn't based on anything else. It wasn't based on people trying to help people do anything except mistreat someone. Oh, yes, if you want to help someone to mistreat someone else, then you can have a race because it's all about mistreatment. Race is racism.
Nelly Fuller Jr., a renowned thinker on race and racism, emphasizes that the concept of race is synonymous with racism and was created to justify and perpetuate the system of white supremacy. He urges that race is racism, meaning that the very notion of dividing humanity into racial categories exists solely to uphold the global system of oppression. According to Fuller, Black Americans have been forced into a race against white supremacists, not by their own choice, but as a means of maintaining and rationalizing their subjugation. This manufactured race is rooted in a system that systematically benefits individuals classified as white, enabling them to dominate and exploit those classified as non-white. Fuller identifies white supremacy as the supreme system of race and racism in the world, transcending national borders, religions, and churches. He asserts that it operates as a totalitarian system and controls all areas of human activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. This system is designed to keep Black Americans and other non-white people in a perpetual state of inferiority, ensuring their dependence and lack of power. Fuller emphasizes that Black Americans do not have their own system of race supremacy, as their actions and movements have been primarily reactive rather than oppressive.
You can't separate race from racism. If you're a member of a race, you believe in practicing racism. That's pure logic. That's in-your-face logic. That's not even having to think twice logic. What is the purpose of a race? Just ask that question. And somebody might say, well, it's to accomplish something. Do you have to be a member of a race to accomplish something? And what is the something you're trying to accomplish? I mean, what's going on here? If you're trying to produce justice, you certainly don't have to be a member of a race to do that. You can just be a person who believes in producing justice. So what is this race for? You can be a group, you can be a member of a sorority, you can be a member of a number of things, but why race? No, the white supremacists, someone who thought up the idea of white supremacists came up with that idea of race and then went around telling everybody else what race they belong to. The white supremacist says, oh, I'm a white person and I'm a member of the white race. I'm just not white. I mean, that's not the most distinctive thing. I'm also a member of the white race. That means I'm in a business of practicing racism. And that's not just being white, because there are a lot of black people who look like they're white. but it's what I do based on being white. And what I do is practice racism. Now, I'm going to say that I am a white person who is a member of a white race. The name of that race is the white race, and the white race is designed to produce a thing called white supremacy, which means mistreating people based on color for my convenience. And I will also tell other people what race they belong to. They can't tell themselves because I'm supreme. I do the naming. I say that you are a member of the brown race. You're a member of the yellow race. You're a member of the red race. You're a member of the tan race. You're a member of the chartreuse race. You're a member of whatever race I say that you are. And then I train you, once I whip you into submission, to repeat what I said. What I said, not what you're saying, because you haven't said anything. And if you do say anything, I'm not paying any attention to it anyway because I'm supreme. I say what you are. So if I say you're a member of the brown race today, and then the next day I say, I think that you're a member of the red race, and you say, oh, no, I'm a member of the brown race. That's what you told me yesterday. Well, I changed my mind. You're a member of the red race today. See, when you're a white supremacist, you can do that. And you say, well, I don't want to change and whatnot. Well, it's not a matter of what you don't want. It's a matter of what I say. Now, and to show you better than I can tell you, you better repeat after me or else, because I can hurt you and you can't hurt me. That's why I'm supreme. Wake up and smell the coffee. I'm supreme. You're not. I tell you where to work. I tell you what kind of shoes to wear. I tell you what shoes to put on and where to get them. And I manufacture them. I am in charge of everything about you, the pillow that you lay your head on. Girl, gal, boy, I'm a white supremacist. Stick that in your dumb brain, like it or not. Now, that's the voice of the white supremacists when they get serious. They'll play with you for a while and let you think that you're this and you're that and you're what you call yourself and all like that. They'll call you anything that they want to call you because you can't whip them. That's why. That's the bottom line. Like they say in the mafiosa, hey, it ain't personal, it's business. Because it's a powerful idea. It's the most powerful idea on earth. It's white supremacy. When the white supremacists teach something, it sticks. Why? Because they know how to kick people all up and down the road and make it stick. That's why. See, when they show you better than they can tell you, they mean that. And they mean it all over the world 24/7. They'll talk nice to you up to a point. And then they'll say, hey, fun's all over. Now, when I tell you to get in the ditch, you get in there, and you've got 2 seconds to get in. And I just counted one of them. And you better find yourself in that ditch, because that's what you call the moment of truth. See, and black people have a serious problem with the truth. Yet, in this area of the world particularly, because black people always talk about keeping it real and all like that, we don't know anything about reality. Nowhere close. But the white supremacists do, because they teach us what we know, even the things that we look forward to, the things that we want to do, the things that we cherish most. It's all taught by them. Black males going around calling themselves men, nowhere qualified, nowhere on this planet. When they call black males boy, they got it correct. A boy is subject to a man. That's why even black people themselves, as far back as I can remember, black males going around calling themselves men all day long. Hey, man, where you going, man? What's up, man? Oh, man. Oh, man. Come on, man. Trying to reinforce something that's not true. Might as well say boy. That would fit. Because that's what the white supremacists say that we are. Because boys are subject to men. Martin Luther King went to Memphis to support the garbage workers, all of whom were black males for the most part. Most of them were. And there are plenty of signs, plenty of photographs that show black males with signs at that time in 1968, walking around with signs saying, I am a man, announcing it to the world. Now, when you have to walk around with a sign saying that you're a man, that might give someone suspicion that maybe you might not be one. You just want to be one. Because when you're a real man, you don't need a sign. Everybody knows it. Black males themselves, as far back as I can remember, they don't do so much. They don't say it so much now because of the refinement of racism. But black males will be arguing among each other like they do. We're always proving our manhood to each other. Take our shirts off. We think that that'll make us a man. Stick out our chest. Lift some weights. We say that's manhood. I'm a man. You're looking at a man. And then a white supremacist walks up on the scene and says, y'all better be quiet. Here come the man. I've heard it all my days in one form or another. It means the same thing. No, mister. Yeah, you may have the muscles of a man, but you ain't nowhere close. Because here comes the man. And all of a sudden, you're a whimpering boy. Particularly when you get ready to send up the river. And all of these greater confinement places that they call prisons. The code calls them greater confinement because we're already confined. All of a sudden, the manhood is gone. Standing there, big bulging muscles, can lift any kind of weight you can name, and saying, sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Please don't give me that much time. Please this and please that. But when you're out on the street, everybody's MF this and MF that. You didn't say that when you got in there standing in front of that bench. Why didn't you tell him MF this and MF that? No, you're not a man, nowhere close. The man is sending you up the river. You broke my law. You broke my law. You broke my law, kiddo. You know? So, I will determine your fate and the fate of all your little ones that you're leaving behind. And that lady out there that you call your woman, forget about it. You're going to be the woman in about 10 days in that lockup with your mannish self. That's the voice of the white supremacists. That's the power of the white supremacists.
Fuller warns against any aspirations among black Americans to establish a system of black supremacy, as this would merely replicate the injustices inherent to white supremacy. Instead, he advocates for replacing the system of white supremacy with a system of justice. He defines justice as ensuring no person is mistreated and that those who need help the most receive the most constructive assistance. In this vision, justice is not achieved through domination or vengeance, but through fairness, equity, and the eradication of oppression. Central to Fuller's analysis is the idea that racism is a systematic problem, not merely an individual one. It is a deliberate, structured mechanism designed to maintain the dominance of one group over another. This system operates under the guise of racial categories, which are artificial constructs used to justify the exploitation of non-white populations. Fuller argues that without the concept of race, there will be no racism, as the two are inextricably linked. Thus, Dismantling the concept of race is integral to dismantling racism. In conclusion, Neely Fuller Jr.'s assessment of race and racism provides a framework for understanding the pervasive and systematic nature of white supremacy. He challenges Black Americans and other non-white populations to focus on replacing white supremacy with justice, rather than seeking to establish a counter-supremacist system. By emphasizing the artificiality of racial constructs and the necessity of systematic change, Fuller offers a vision of liberation rooted in fairness and constructive problem solving.